it is independent. Well, that saved me a lot of trouble in the long run. Because it's not fresh. Because it's not beep, 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 beep. Brr, 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 brr. Alright, are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? How do I have a first comment on a video that just went live? I don't understand. Okay, moving on. This broadcast is inappropriate for all ages right here on Jam on Toast. It's time for the watch spot. Pa-chow, pa-chow. I'm glad I didn't have that other card active. Salutations. I am Kamurai and I am conversation ready. I'm going to move this just a little bit. A little King Kong is good for the soul. What do you think, kitty? Does this make me sound weird? Probably. I don't care, because I don't care about much, but that's okay. We're here today not to talk about the things I don't care about, but the things I do care about, like things and stuff we've been watching and talking about with our friends or whatever. I'm going to blow through this a little bit, but I do want to start where I pay and I watch a lot of stuff dedicated weekly. CBS.com. They have a movie section. If you don't know about it, I would say go there and watch these movies so we get more movies, but Children of the Lesser God is still there, and Some Kind of Wonderful, and that's it. There's only two. They're older. They're not great movies. I'm not saying they're not good movies. I need to watch them again, if I have watched these at all, honestly. Before I say that, but let's be honest, you probably don't want to. What you go to CBS.com for is their, I was going to say wide range of TV shows. It's really not it. They do about three things. They do 20-minute episodic sitcoms. Come here, stupid kitty, I'm going to get you. Like, the only one that I got to watch this week, because I don't know what the fuck happened, was Man with a Plan, Matt LeBlanc's little series that he's got going on. They roll in some guys that you'll recognize every now and again, but mostly it's him, his wife, and his kids. In dysfunctional family stuff, which is kind of my bread and butter. I really enjoy that type of aspect, watching like how people interact or how the perception is of the way people interact, and the way it's comedic. So, like, that's really all I got. I'm trying to think on it, and it was about him remembering his wife's birthday for once in a blue moon, and what the logistics of being social is for events like that. Because he never does it. He's not used to the idea of, like, hey, I gotta plan this, I gotta plan this, that, I gotta account for everybody's special needs. I didn't know about this special rule where if somebody can't make it, we reschedule so everyone can be together. Of course, you're supposed to surprise the birthday person, blah, 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 blah. Not my wheelhouse, not my thing. So it was kind of interesting to watch something that made me focus on that, because, again, not my thing. Don't do birthdays like that. The Good Fight's on episode 2, season 2, so, like, I missed catching up, and we're going to watch that currently. I'll have to give it a shot once I coordinate myself and get caught up on other things. Speaking of which, I'm sorry, the two other things that CBS does. They do reality TV, which is its own fucking shit. And then they do like hour-long crime dramas. I think The Good Fight's one of those. It might be a little bit different. Who knows? But the CW, I'm trying to catch up on the CW because I fucked up last weekend. Or the weekend before last. I didn't really do much better this past weekend. And I pretty much watched everything on here except for Jane the Virgin and Dynasty that's current right now. Is that Isla Fisher? That might be Isla Fisher. I mean, and I'll beg and cry for some of these shows to come back. Penn and Teller Fool Us, The 100, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. All great shows as far as I'm concerned. But right now I'm going through like the comic book stuff because that's mostly what they have. But they added a new show called Life Sentence. You may recognize the star of it from Pretty Little Liars. Excuse me. It's Arya. Now, like, I went through like a weird phase with that because it's always fun to say like, oh, which one would you want to get in with? And I've had that conversation multiple times with Pretty Little Liars, and my answers shifted throughout like almost every season. It was really weird. Just stereotypically looking at them, I would have thought this girl, but I didn't like her character enough to be attracted to her. So that whole thing, I was just like, oh, why aren't you better? And boom, it's like someone listened to my comments and like, well, how does that fit into a show? What if she was dying of cancer? Which is a weird thing, but if you like John Green's The Fault in Our Stars, watch this, because this is kind of, sort of, related to that subject. It's a girl who spent like 20 years thinking she's going to die of cancer. That's a little exaggerative. I think she's 20 when she finds out that she's going to live, that she's beat cancer, that she's cured. And so now she has to deal with life, because up to that point there were no consequences, and everything was jolly happy for her all the time. So of course, not only does she break down a little bit, but everyone around her breaks down because they were all trying to put up this nice show for her so that she felt good before she died. And she didn't have to worry about it because, and to be fair, stress is a killer. It's the truth. So we're about 2 episodes in on this. I'm really loving the show. She's a really good actress. She's actually showing it. I think it was the character that was hurting her before because she was kind of like a shallow little floofy artist type before, and now she's kind of going from that type of character to someone who realizes like, oh, I've got to like take care of life and start dealing with things and be responsible and be a good person, because she's seen all these people around her that she's loved and grown up with and that she's thought are good people not be good people. So she's trying to like hang on to whatever good she can and take a turn at bettering everyone else's life, because when they thought that she had very little, that's what they were trying to do for her. And I really appreciate that that idea of giving back or doing for, and so I'm going to enjoy the show. I really think. Now they've already thrown a couple real crazy twists at us. Not to purposely spoil anything, but the just laying it out there because these are premises that we're dealing with. Mom decides that she's bi and leaves dad for a lady. That's going to throw upheaval into any situation. They're dealing with selling the house, maybe, because dad ran them into debt, trying to take care of his dying daughter and make her happy. She may not know her husband as well as she thought, because they thought she was going to die. And then her brother knocked up somebody, and then what was the other one? There's something else big. Yeah, I think the husband and the mom were like the big things. Like, him being deported would have like really shook things up. I'm waiting for the big twist, either at the end of the first season or in the middle of the season would be better, that they find out that her test results were wrong. Like, not that she tested false positive, but that she swapped, or she had the wrong, her files were swapped. Like, she got someone else's results. So then that gives her another character that she can go meet, who might still be like in chemo and dying from cancer, who finally gets the good news that she's been cured when she just realized that she's not gonna live. That would be such a great juxtaposition for those two characters to meet each other. The girl who thought she was gonna die and lived, and then thought she was gonna, and then finds out that she should die. Meets the girl that thought she was gonna die. Am I saying this right? Yeah. Thought she was going to die of cancer. Finds out she's going to die of cancer. And then finds out she's going to live. That would be fantastic. Sorry. So if you could hear that, it's a buddy of mine trying to message me on Steam now that I am talking online. I needed him for a sound test. So back to the comic book movies, I do say, or comic book shows. I do say comic book shows because both Riverdale and iZombie are based off comics. I'm loving iZombie. They are really getting into the personalities that she adopts and the idea that Seattle is like walled off. And then you've got Seattle and New Seattle, and we got human trafficking going on. They're starting to address the idea that the brains are not going to last. And I think she said 46 months, which is almost 4 years. So the fact that they have 4 years of supplies already would be monumental. However, it's not what she meant. She meant that it's projected that they have 46 months. So it's more likely that they're counting on people dying and donating their brains, people forcibly donating their brains, meaning that they run into a situation where their brains are acquired, different things like that, or import or like actual purchases of brains. It's really weird, and it's one of those storylines. I'm sorry, it's one of those shows that do their storylines really well, where they do the alpha beta storylines great. So like, they didn't touch. The last time they touched on Blaine's dad actually escaping from the well that he put him in, because his lackey turned on Blaine. But like, Blaine is also still doing kind of the criminal organization thing. But the zombie military is actually backing him at this point. Like, he keeps his businesses at the whim of this military guy. And the carrot's been dangled that if Blaine finds Renegade, a coyote, a human trafficker, in the last episode, which took a little kid through the wall to get cured, I think, of a heart murmur or something. There was that, and of course it's the wrong one. So he's looking. Not only is he looking for the wrong one, but he's looking for the one that Liv knows. So there's all this interconnected nonsense, and then there's great like love triangle relationship bullshit between Liv and Major, as well with Major dealing with new recruits coming onto the zombie military force. I guess it's a paramilitary force, but whatever. Let's see here. I've not caught up on DC Legends of Tomorrow or Black Lightning, or Riverdale, or Supernatural. Supernatural, I guess, doesn't have a comic. That may or may not be true. I'm not sure. Supergirl, I'm all caught up on, as far as I know. She flies around. She fights other people that fly around. Yeah, that's the show in a nutshell, at least. Wish I had a hammer. Break it open for you. No, I should have more than that, but unfortunately, like, the supers, I don't get a lot from them like that. It's Arrow's much more interesting to me because it's street level. Like, we've got all this business with Speedy coming back into the picture, Roy coming back into the picture, all the underground nonsense, even with Caden James being imprisoned. There's still like all this shady underground stuff going on, to include his death. And we realize that like corruption is as strong as ever in Star City, so why not? So I wish I had better answers for some of this. I'll have to make some better notes and come back next week. The Flash, I caught up on the Flash, and the Flash is great, whatever. But there was like a whole episode where it's basically in super speed, and then inside the super speed, they super speed. It's exhausting. It's exhausting trying to do that. Oh, I did have a big issue with Arrow. That's right. there was at least 2 different times where he arrow shot a grappling hook into nothing and then swung to nothing. And I really feel like they're lying to that actor and being like, we're going to CGI a building in the background and it'll look fine. You didn't do it. It looks stupid. You fucking ruin shit when you do it like that. I think they're doing... The Flash is much better produced, but it's probably the same crew, and I'm just being a dick. So we'll leave the CW alone for a little bit. I'd love to jump into Hulu, because it's just so much cleaner. But let's do Netflix first. Let's see, it's the 16th. So we want to go back to, what, the 9th or so? Oh, God, what did I leave on? Oh, Love. Love Season 3. I love Jillian Jacobs. She is awesome. She does Mickey really well. It's a great show. It's a much more positive season. It's really a weirdness of, like, Gus trying to deal with some of the success and how to manage that and whatnot. Mickey's life's kind of on the rise. Birdie's life's kind of on the rise. The radio girl, who I can never remember her name, she's kind of on the rise. And we're seeing some of the men kind of like fall, partly because of their own ambitions too. So I did do a review on the Tumblr for this one, jamontoast528.tumblr.com. You can read a little bit about what I put there, but I definitely recommend it. I can tell you that much. It's definitely, if you've seen the first 2 seasons, it's definitely an interesting season. And it ends on a moment that I won't spoil right now. Oh, yes. Marvel's Jessica Jones. I did not do a review for this because I didn't review the first one, and I'm kind of a stickler for that. If I'm going to review the second season, I got to have done the first. I don't know why all the titles are AKA, but they are. Kristen Ritter really does a good job with Jessica Jones. I know she doesn't look like the comic book come to life, but I don't think that's important here. I think the importance is to embody the character. She certainly does that. And then, like, her sister kind of leans into her former character more. Now that, like, Jessica's been kind of outed as a super, we can't say hero, but we can say super. That gets more and more in the eye, and that's kind of what this becomes into. Because Jessica's such in the public eye, and her sister is as Patsy, that comes into play more and more and more in this universe, and so more people are paying attention, and then of course that causes problems because the wrong people start paying attention, and Jessica cannot get that through to her sister for whatever reason, and it actually ends up hurting her quite a bit. They run into this one guy who was actually trying to protect them to some degree, and then he has like this inhaler, and of course her sister being a freaking drug addict, and I guess you never really stop being a drug addict, right? So she's still a drug addict, can't be trusted around this thing, and ends up taking it and getting addicted to being super combat mode, like in heightened senses, everything's brighter, etc., etc. And it gives her the ability to have powers like she's always wanted. She's always been jealous of Jessica for having powers and strength and whatnot, the ability to overcome and be in the spotlight. And so she gets that opportunity here, and she even like goes under surgery, I think, to try to get powers through the same experiments that Jessica went through. And not needing any healing, I don't know what that really would have done to her, but I think at some point she realizes that she got essentially like super balance. So the third season, we're gonna have to see her explore that a lot, and then Jessica kind of have to deal with it. Hopefully they start mixing them back in. I really liked it when the characters would step into each other. The problem with that is that because they did Iron Fist so poorly, having Iron Fist step into everyone else's storylines fucking ruin that. It ruins the pattern, and then the bean counters go, no. The statistics say that people didn't like it when we mixed characters in different shows. No, they didn't like it when the one character mixed into different shows. That's what happened, you fucks. Okay, let's just run through a couple of these more. At night, I like to put on some goofy, familiar shit. Meet the Robinsons, I hadn't seen in a while, so I put that on. I think I watched most of that. I'll probably go back and finish it off. maybe not. Who knows? It's just the end. I think where I fell asleep right after he got the dinosaur as a sidekick. Which is a really odd thing to remember, but it's the last thing I remember is the T-Rex and the bowler hat. Which is a ridiculous image, and you don't forget it, really. And then Aliens Ate My Homework. I think I got about halfway through the movie before I fell asleep. And then I put on Children of the Whales. This is actually a pretty cool Netflix original anime. It's a little awkward to get into, if I'm being honest. It really doesn't give you enough backstory of why anything as it is. You just kind of have to accept that we're in this post-apocalyptic world where they live on the back of what they call a mud whale. And then it's this weird thing where they call boats and vehicles oceanic things when they live in a desert world. So who knows? But that's part of what this is. I like anime, especially, that gives me answers. It's one of the reasons why I don't like Attack on Titan. Is they start with 100 questions, and then as the season continues, you get about 500 more and no answers. And I've learned that if you continue with the story, you do eventually get your answers that you need. But I just enjoy getting the answers. So for Children of the Whales, you kind of start with this mystery box, and you're slowly unwrapping it, and you're figuring out what the different things are. And it turns out it's kind of like an Avatar: The Last Airbender kind of world, where like there are people who have, let's call them superpowers, and people who don't, and the people who do have more strain on their body from the powers, so they're called marked ones. So they live less, and then those who choose to use their powers irresponsibly, let's put that in quotes, end up being imprisoned in a place in which they actually can't use their powers. Part of the crimes that are included in this society are showing emotion, and so they do this thing where, like, to calm themselves, they're like, okay, I won't be upset, and it's ridiculous. You want to come here? You want to come pets? Don't just stare at me. I'm talking to people. Come on. So I'm up to, why does it not have episode numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 episodes in. Really, I just realized that Jessica Jones and Love don't have the episode numbers there either. They just have the titles. I do not approve of that. Everything sucks, same way. I could have sworn they did Altered Carbon, Kakaguri. No, okay, so here's the difference, is that Kakaguri actually has the episode names as episode blank. That's really upsetting. They need to compensate for that. They're gonna have TV shows, they need to deal with them properly. So I've got to finish that season up. I'm not planning on doing a review for it, but who knows? I got other things I gotta catch up on. Things are filling in my life, and I need to figure out what I got room for. The plan will not be to stop doing things on this channel, but we may have to look at that at least temporarily. Okay, I don't know if we talked about it last time or not. Probably not, but things are a little light. Toledans. Oh, so AP Bio, our hoity-toity Harvard teacher started trying to date in Toledo, so Toledans is what I think it's supposed to mean. And then he started making the kids express who they were into and, like, why. I don't know, him being cruel to kids is funny to me. I don't know why. It's probably not in real life, but whatever. And then, of course, we've got the Superstore safety thing, where Amy tries to cover for Kelly for no real good reason. And then they get dragged into this just series of unfortunate events for safety, which is weird. Bob's Burgers came back, and I have no idea why it had a Spanish title, but a Mr. Frond of all people creates a sport that's great for non-athletics. So it's an athletic sport for non-athletic kids. So of course it comes down to Rudy and Gene for like the big tournament, and then Gene like uses his leverage for winning to try to destroy it. Ha ha ha, which is funny. Let's see, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's good to have him back on Earth and dealing with kind of normal types of crisis, but of course there's a vortex that's gonna fucking open up and destroy everything. So what are you gonna do? You can send Coulson, who's already dying, to go deal with it, right? They called help in from a cyborg. I don't know if you remember him from like the first couple episodes, but the guy who became a version of Deathlock, or a Deathlock, let's say that, because there can be more than one Deathlock. Deathlock was not a person, it was a title. In fact, it was actually the absence of having a person. And then I started rewatching Married. It keeps trying to get me to watch Broad City, and I'm just like, I kind of want to watch this, but I don't want to do it because you're making me. Like, I'm just, out of spite, I'm just refusing to watch Broad City. So I rewatched Married, which is fun, because it's got a Jewish girl I think is kind of funny that's in there, and then Judy Greer's fantastic. It's kind of the dysfunctional family thing I mentioned earlier, but the I don't know, the guy's more of a loser in here. It's very much a trope to just have like bitchy wife, useless dad or whatever, and I don't understand what it is in particular that like leads us this way, but the show's interesting enough. The best friend of the husband is the Jewish girl that I'd mentioned. I'm not saying that because she's Jewish and that's what defines her per se. I'm saying that because she is, and that's how she defines herself somewhat. So just what it is. That's not the right one. So make sure I'm on the right restream. But it's a fun show. I get to see Judy Greer. I get to see more Judy Greer than I get to see almost anywhere else, because she's always like a supporting actress. She's almost never the lead role, so it's good to see her in that. Oh, there was apparently a movie called Bread and Butter that I tried to watch. I'd love to know what time this was, because oh yeah, so this is the one where it's like a 30-year-old lady is concerned about losing her virginity finally. So she I think she's trying to like date a patient at the doctor's office where she works, or therapy office that works, but because the walls are shitty, she knows too much about them. But you got to take an adventure and start somewhere, right? So I want to go back and rewatch that. I definitely want to, because it was interesting enough, and the actors actually seemed good enough. I'm gonna delete It's Us because I don't watch that. What the hell is Red Knot? So Hulu autoplay is not your friend. What is this? Red Knot. Let's see. Olivia Thirlby. From Juno. She was the best friend in Juno. That's right. Young married couple who jump at the chance to satisfy their wanderlust by taking a belated honeymoon. I can't say you sold me, but I'm going to put it on my watch list along with Bread and Butter. And hopefully I'll get back around to it. No, don't play the movie. Just go on the watch list. How would I make that happen? Oh my god. Okay, that's... life's unfortunate that way. You would think that you're going to open it up here? No, don't open it up. Hulu's not my friend. It does not want to be my friend. It's not interested in it. So I started watching, okay, Lucifer's been heading forward at least. And it was kind of cool to see the struggle that he has there, because he's trying to push Decker away, and then he's trying to hold her tight, and he can't make up his fucking mind. He just needs to be honest with her, but he can't ever seem to do that either. And he's still got to kill Kane to break the curse and piss Daddy off or whatever. I don't know. The show's kind of all up in the air, but like the moment to moment's usually really good. The dynamic between the characters is solid, um, and they always have some kind of interesting premise. Plus, they have the murder and then a parallel B story that involves Lucifer and his brother and Mazikeen and the Doctor, because they have like a good, healthy stable of characters at this point. Yeah, that show's not going anywhere. Oh yeah, Lucifer took a knife properly, like through the shoulder for Decker. That was kind of a cool moment. I tried to watch Food Wars. This happens every now and again, and be like, "Oh yeah, I remember Food Wars," because it's an anime about a guy who cooks food so well that when people eat it, their clothes fly off. If that doesn't have you right there, get your head checked. And so it's really interesting to see the reactions to the food and everything, because the people like have like intense visualizations of like being in a hot spring and then a gorilla gets in the bath with them. Like it's like that's the equivalent of the taste in their mouth. It's really funny. Let's see, we got the Mick fresh off the boat. Oh, Drunk History. I didn't actually watch that. There's another autoplay mistake. If you watch Drunk History, great, good for you. Just I don't. Fresh off the boat was about Lent. I think I'm done with Lent stuff. We did 40 days and 40 nights. I'm out. um, the Mick was all about Alba and Mickey both taking a night off at the same time, which seems stupid. Stagger that shit, ladies. But Alba ended up trapped in like a bathroom with a rat. I don't know why that was the storyline we went with. And then Mick ended up having to handcuff the older sister to the youngest son because she was being a pain in the ass about watching her own brother. And then the older brother cuts his fingers off. So I can't wait to see what they do with that. That's going to be really interesting. Let's see, more Food Wars, American Housewife. It's always interesting when they develop like a new sexuality on a character. So they took kind of like the lead, let's call her a villain for all intents and purposes, because it's about a hoity-toity neighborhood where like this middle-class family lives in an upper-class area. So the head upper-class bitch or whatever, like the main girl's lesbian lawyer friend goes to intimidate her and ends up getting laid. Good for them. But for her to like reinvent herself there and then emergency default at the beginning or at the end of the episode was really kind of jarring to see that. It's like, no. She is that thing you made her. Don't just rewrite it. Don't make it a fad. Don't do that. It's not what it's there for. The middle was all about like not being held responsible for those who come before you. And then oddly enough, they went the other way with the parents. It was about moving forward and leaving those who are in your life now behind when the opportunity to better yourself and move yourself forward occurs. So that was kind of neat. Speechless was fun because let's see, we got to see Dad actually, because like since JJ's an adult now, like a lot of things are changing in their lives in that regard. So Dad actually ends up jumping in on the neighbor's project as an architect. He like writes up blueprints and stuff. So there's going to be a developmental plan for him coming up, which I think will be good. And it's Kripke from Big Bang Theory, if you're unaware. So it's cool that he couldn't get enough money from CBS and is doing another show for us to enjoy him on. He's just not on there often enough, I think, is what it is in reality. AP Bio, this was actually a really good episode, the last one that happened up to this point. It was Parent-Teacher Day, but of course he doesn't give a shit about anything, so he walks in, he's like, okay, shut up, I got this going on, and we've got my arch nemesis here, and he's got like, psych him this town, I haven't banged anybody, so this just won't do, so how do we figure out who Jack's gonna bang? And it's fucking horrid that he would go in there and do that in front of a bunch of high school kids, in theory, Uh, but let alone their parents are there to witness it. So it's like, well, how are you gonna get out of this, Jack? Uh, they have the character played off really well, much smoother than he is for the rest of the episode, where he is trying to bang one kid's mom, who I'm actually gonna look her up. Like, no joke, I recognized her, have no idea where it's from, and I'm honestly kind of upset with myself when I don't remember where people are from. And I have a feeling she's going to be a reoccurring character from this point, so I want to know where I know her from, so I have the context for the actress. Unfortunately, I think I have to look by episode. How does this work? Let's see. We don't party, freaking enamored. When Jax is attracted to his student's mother at a parent-teacher conference, he feigns interest in her son Colin. A group of parents complain to principal, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, so there was a stupid, like, anti-nudity protest or whatever because a teacher was sketched showing her back. Ooh, there wasn't even, like, side boob or anything, like, where that thing where, like, the boobs separate and then spill. There wasn't anything of that going on because it was from the back. So, like, this is where the boobs normally are. I'm saying boobs because apparently that's what we consider nudity here. It shouldn't be that big deal. Free the nipple. Wear what you want to fucking wear. But for this case, like, she's from, like, not even her butt. It wasn't even showing butt. It was from, like, the lower back to the shoulders. And then she's, like, looking over her shoulder or some shit. It was ridiculous. And then Patton Oswalt's character made it even worse because to try to make her feel better about the poster being, or the painting being taken down, he was like, you know what, this is what I want to do for you. It's like, I want to put I want to uncensor the photo, or the picture. I want to put it up in my office so that I can enjoy this wonderful, beautiful, sexual piece of art. He kept making it worse. He's like, look at these supple shoulders and whatever. And so he just weirded her out enough that she was like, you can't have this. I'm taking this home. This is not being out there for people to perv on, which I thought was fucking hilarious. That, like, it that character took such a switch on it. Let's see. So I've got, is it Lori Allen? Is that who this is? Dee Dee Kasprick, Colin McDonald. So in theory, it would be someone McDonald, right? What? Okay, so that's one of the students. That's not her. What is happening here? The IMDb pictures are so small. Like, I almost want to just be listed as Colin's mom. Okay, so Allison Ashley Arm. This is the girl I think I mentioned before. Heather, she's fantastic. I am going to maybe keep this IMDb page up. Man, she was in Friends back in the day, so she must have been wee as shit. She's in a bunch of TV series. Leslie Buffet, the one where Ross is fine, 2003. That's how long she's been acting. A good 15 years or so. Wow. I'm going to check out some of her stuff because I think she's a good actress. I think she's really nailing this character. And even though they try to muss her up a little bit, she's still cute too. So that doesn't hurt the argument for watching stuff. Is this Jean Philippique? No, that's someone else. God, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna do it on my time though because I think I've worn out the amount of time I could spend looking at IMDb. This is irritating as shit though. I want to know. I'm gonna find out. Let's move on though. We're about done with Hulu. It's just more Food Wars. I'm gonna slowly make my way through that. We've done Netflix. We've done Hulu. So I figured out that if you go through your browsing history for Amazon, you can see the movies and things that you've been watching there. But you also see everything else. So I'll never screen share that because I look at weird shit sometimes just to entertain myself, and I don't feel like being judged. So get fucked. But we watched Thor Ragnarok. Blah, 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 blah. Thor Ragnarok for We Are Movie Club on Sunday over on Rabbit/Kamurai. That was a good time. It was a funny fucking movie. I think I looked up Aliens just to see what the price was. Guardians of the Galaxy we're trying to do next Sunday. I was thinking about getting this, but I've got a copy, so why not? I'll just do that. Yeah, it's not available on Prime now. Valerian is though. I did watch a couple episodes of Electric Dreams. It's kind of like an Amazon version of Black Mirror, if you will. Consumed Zoe Lister-Jones. Damn, I feel bad I don't remember his name. Like, I do like him. It's an older gentleman. He was it Danny? Is it Glover? Tell me who he is. Victor Garber? No, that's a bunch of white guys. So it's all good. It's an older black guy. I swear he was the detective in Saw that ended up getting his throat cut. I'm really not sure why his name's not bigger up there. But he's in that. Ended up being a good movie, but it's about GMOs killing us. So take it as you will. If you're gonna watch a movie about that, I would really recommend. I think it's called Corn. It's got Jenna Malone in it. Much better. I like her better as an actress. No offense to Zoe Lister-Jones. And it's in the sheep. It's about sheep. It's not even about us eating. It's about sheep eating crops that they're not supposed to, and then it makes the sheep go feral essentially, and start eating people. So it's a creature feature of sorts. I did watch Valerian somewhat recently. It doesn't have like the date or anything here, but I don't remember talking about it. Valerian was okay. It was actually a decent movie. I don't know why everyone got up in their fucking shit about it. And I think it's because it was the original sci-fi movie. It was before Star Wars even, or at least as a comic property or a graphic novel at the time maybe. And it inspired Star Wars in a lot of ways, and you can see direct correlations. Princess Leia, the Millennium Falcon, some of the layouts for the city planets. Things like that. So there definitely are ways to link the movies, and there's just nothing you can do about it. I didn't watch it again recently, but I'm definitely going to mention it. There's kind of like I did for Fountain of Youth, which I do recommend as well. Giga Hose. I like saying a Giga Hose. It's fun. I did notice David and Olivia naked in Scotland. I need to check out whatever the hell that is. And The Expanse is on Prime Video as well. Looking at my watch list, 50/50 was pretty good. I did watch What If. I just don't remember it. It's kind of a romantic comedy where they get pushy. I got stuff on here I've definitely watched recently. More recent than not. Let me say that because Click's still on here. What is this one? PR Impossible? I don't even remember adding this. This is how bad the situation is. I just throw stuff on here sometimes. I'll figure it out. Like, I remember adding Daphne and The Circle and The Duchess and Miss Meadows, which was really good. Because I remember going, oh, that's Jessica Chastain, Emma Watson, Tom Hanks. Oh, Keira Knightley. Oh, Katie Holmes. And there's actors that I recognize and can relate to the movie with. So we are out of things that I have been... Whatever, I've been busy. I've been playing a lot of video games, or a lot of Paladins anyways. So I'm going to go in there. I got about 10 minutes before we start. So if you're watching now, join us over on Rabbit/Kamurai. We're going to watch Alien 3, and it'll be a good time. Yeah. So until you see me next time, have a nice day. If you see anything else we're up to, go ahead and click the annotations and they'll take you to our other channels. Thanks for watching. Ba-da-da-da-da-da.